And welcome into Hockey Sense, everybody. Great to have you with us as always. This is going to be an interesting show, certainly a show with a lot of emotion, as we express our love for Johnny Gaudreau, as well as his brother Matthew Gaudreau, who were killed overnight or late last night on Thursday night while in New Jersey in a bike accident when they were hit by a driver who was believed to be under the influence. That driver is now being held in custody. The Gaudreaus were celebrating what would have been their sister's wedding today in New Jersey, his hometown. And Johnny, along with his brother Matthew, were riding their bikes, like I said, late Thursday night. Word broke Thursday night. Many people were in disbelief, and it was not made official until Friday morning, which is where we sit right now. So this news is very, very fresh. It's very raw. Thinking of a lot of people who were close with Johnny, as well as the entire Gaudreau family, including his brother Matthew. I can't imagine what that family is going through today. You talk about highs and lows, the anticipation, the excitement for their sister's wedding, surrounded by family and friends, only to have the most unimaginable tragedy take place, where this family now has lost not just one, but two members of the Gaudreau family. Johnny Gaudreau, one of the best players of his generation, there's no question about that. 2014 Hobey Baker winner, best player in college hockey, was sensational, teaming up with Kevin Hayes at Boston College. Made the All-Star team in the National Hockey League his rookie season. He was a third or fourth round pick, I believe. So wasn't even expected to be the elite superstar that he became throughout his time playing with the Calgary Flames. This guy had a number of moments representing USA Hockey where he played at an extremely high level. He had a unique brand to his game. He was small, he was shifty, he was skilled, he was exciting, and the name Johnny Hockey was a perfect fit for Johnny Gaudreau. You can't underestimate the emotions that people are going through right now and how hurt so many people are and how close Johnny Gaudreau was to so many people in the hockey world, and this includes Kevin Hayes. I think about Kevin Hayes today. He loses his brother Jimmy and now loses someone who was like a brother in Johnny Gaudreau. I think about Matthew Tkachuk, who played with Gaudreau so many years in Calgary, and the two of them teaming up to become among the best tandems in the National Hockey League. I think about all his family and friends who obviously watched him play at Boston College and then rise to become the Johnny Hockey we know today. And as much as we talk about Johnny Gaudreau, it's so important that we talk about his brother Matthew as well, who also played at Boston College and enjoyed a short, different professional career, spending most of his time playing in the East Coast Hockey League, but obviously made it to the professional level. And this would not have been made possible without Gaudreau's father, who Johnny's always told the story about his dad teaching him how to skate. And the two of them obviously shared a very, very close bond and a very close connection. Anybody who's a parent is feeling their pain today. Those who aren't parents are feeling their pain today. I give the NHL media a lot of credit for holding off on this news because many knew about it on Thursday night, late Thursday night, and properly chose to wait for the team and the league to make the announcement. And the reason why that's so important is you don't want anybody learning about this on Twitter. I was in a situation like this years ago working at KMOX Radio, a legendary radio station, when Cardinals pitcher Darryl Kyle passed away. And when we received the news that the game was going to be postponed that day, the individual that I was working with, who was on the air at the time, I was producing the show, delivered the news. And we started receiving calls immediately from the St. Louis Cardinals. This cannot get out. Who gave you the green light to report this, blah, blah, blah. And nobody did, but it was a decision that was made by the individual who was on the air at the time. And so I learned at a very young age that in these type of situations, it's so sensitive. They were waiting for his family to be notified. And in this situation, I would imagine the same thing was taking place on Thursday night. And it's not just the family, especially now when you consider it's the offseason in the NHL. You're trying to notify everybody that needs to be notified within the Columbus Blue Jackets organization, making sure ownership knows, making sure his teammates know, making sure Gary Bettman knows, the NHL knows. And so I give the media a lot of credit because a lot of people knew this to be true. This was a rumor that was floating around social media. But among fans, it had not been confirmed. And there was obviously, like everyone, a lot of hope that the rumor would be proven to be false. And Johnny Gaudreau would still be with us today, along with his brother Matthew. And unfortunately, that's not the case, as we learned this morning when it was confirmed. The story is they were on a bike, both of them, riding their bikes on a road in New Jersey. A vehicle that struck them was trying to pass two other vehicles, which led to Gaudreau and his brother Matthew being hit from behind and tragically killed in this situation. Life is precious. You never know when your time is up. And, it's so cliche to say enjoy every moment and hug your loved ones and all of that. But it is so, so true. The feeling that I have today reminds me of the feeling when Pavel Demitra and the rest of his teammates playing in Russia at the time were tragically killed in a plane crash while playing in the KHL. It was around the same time of the year. I believe we were just entering NHL training camp. It was in early September. I could be wrong. I don't have the exact date next to me of when Demitra was killed. But it's the same empty feeling, the same emptiness that I think the entire hockey world is feeling today. And I had a much closer relationship with Pavel Demitra than I did with Johnny Gaudreau. But certainly the hockey world is so small. You know so many people that are close with Gaudreau, and the images of Johnny Gaudreau on top of Brady Tkachuk's shoulders, dancing, having a great time at Kevin Hayes' wedding, those images will last a lifetime. And again, I think about the Hayes family, who has been through so much personally, and now they go through it again as they mourn the loss of Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau, teammates of Kevin Hayes at Boston College. And I can't stop thinking about Johnny Gaudreau's parents. I think about his sister, who was set to be married today. And I would imagine those plans will be put on pause for the time being. I didn't know what direction to take in for this episode of Hockey Sense. Again, we're recording this show early on Friday morning. I didn't feel it was right to contact somebody close to Johnny to have them come on and reflect on Johnny's life, on his hockey career. I just feel like maybe it's a little bit soon to do this. It's such a tragic situation. This is not a self-inflicted death that tragically we hear about those far too often as well. This was one of those that cuts so deep and is so painful, even without having maybe a personal relationship with the Gaudreau family. But I've interviewed Johnny in the past, and certainly I've been around him, and I'm close with those that are very close with him. So it hits home for different reasons from that standpoint. But I think about the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have been through tragedy before. This is not the first time that they've dealt with it. So sometimes life just is not fair. And sometimes life makes no sense. And this is certainly one of those occasions where this is not fair. And I can't imagine what the family's going through today. Rest in peace, Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Hockey Sense is brought to you by First Community. We have some great sponsors here on this show that help us bring Hockey Sense to you each and every week. On all our podcast platforms, they've got so many great options right now at First Community. Back-to-school programs. If you're going to want to hook them up with their first checking account for your son or daughter that's heading back to school, First Community has that college cashback checking that earns cash back with no minimum balance and no monthly fee. So be sure to ask about that. The account comes with free mobile banking and a free debit card. And if you have your own account at First Community, they can even set you up with cross-account online access so you can help them with their banking even if they're not at home, because so many college kids obviously may be dealing with this for the first time. So First Community, always looking out for everyone, including those that are looking to open up their first ever account. They've got home loans. There's so many different ways that you can open up an account, save money, and earn money over at First Community. So check that out, firstcommunity.com. Four Hands Brewing Company brings you the Mango Lemonade Hard Seltzer, the Cam and Strick Podcast Mango Lemonade Hard Seltzer. We're talking about having a event to celebrate the season starting up at one of the Four Hands locations. We'll keep you updated on that. Cam Jansen and myself are hoping to maybe do something. As the Mango Lemonade Hard Seltzer will be back on the shelves coming up on September 24th. So look for that and all their other great products. They've got the beautiful tasting room in downtown St. Louis, 1220 South 8th Street. Beautiful space in Chesterfield. I was out there last weekend. That place is incredible. No better place to take the family if they want to run around, play some games, get the energy out while you're, the parents just enjoy a good time and a nice night. And the evenings are going to cool down here the next couple of days, so it's a perfect opportunity to get out there. But Four Hands Brewing Company, Kevin Lemp and company, flat out getting it done. Taking our experience here in St. Louis to the next level, one craft beer at a time. Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop. Download the app and do it today. They've got so many great deals that are available through Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop. They call them steals. They're so good. Many of the locations have curbside pickup. Some have drive-thrus, so you don't even have to get out of your car. That's how convenient it is. Don't sleep on the party supplies at Dirt Cheap, by the way. If you're having back-to-school parties, fall parties, you're planning Halloween parties, whatever it is, they've got everything you're looking for in terms of the paper goods, decorations, paper plates, everything. And the best beer, wine, and booze selection you'll find anywhere. Dirt Cheap Fun, baby, your one-stop party shop. Lordo's Diamonds, get that special someone in your life something special. Mike and Jimmy Lordo, the best in the business. Nobody does it better. These guys are absolutely incredible. If you're going in there with a $50,000 budget or a $500 budget, they will find something for you that'll make you proud, that'll make you happy, and that'll make that special someone that you're buying it for even happier. Maybe it's for yourselves. Right there in the heart of Ladue, 314-432-8008, right next to Truffles. Can't miss it. St. Louis institution. This week, Devin Sant will not be available to join us. He's traveling with 314 Sports Cards. They had Trent Frederick from the Boston Bruins out there last weekend. Hopefully, many of you got out there to go see Trent, get an autograph and a picture taken with the St. Louis hockey legend and current member of the Boston Bruins. Trent's an unbelievable guy. Devin's an incredible guy. And they've got the best, most incredible selection of hockey cards you're going to find anywhere in North America. Check them out. They got a great website. They have a fantastic Instagram account as well, 314 Sports Cards. I'll let you know what that is here in just a second. But if you're looking for an individual card, if you're looking for a box, if you're looking for a pack, you're looking for memorabilia, you're looking for a one-of-a-kind piece, they've got all of that at 314 Sports Cards. Check out their Instagram account, again, at 314sports_cards. 314sports_cards. Check that out and do it today. 314 Sports Cards. Give Devin a shout out. Say hello to him. Nobody does it better. Nicest people you'll find anywhere. Devin Sant. Love having 314 Sports Cards a part of what we do here on Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. We do have a new sponsor that we're bringing on board. I'm looking forward to this. Blue Note Roofing. Have you ever seen that truck driving around St. Louis that has a music note, and it's called Blue Note Roofing? I mean, this is a perfect fit because they are huge hockey fans. And you got to call Dave today. 314-920-5713. 314-920-5713. They do roofing, they do siding, they do fascia, soffit, gutters, storm damage, insurance claims. They deal with all insurance companies. They're a specialist when it comes to that. Nobody does it better than Dave. Huge hockey fan. He'll talk pucks with you, but obviously give you the best customer service and the best service you're looking for your roofing needs. Again, fascia, soffit, gutters, siding, roofing, whatever it is you're looking for. Blue Note Roofing. Give them a call today, 314-920-5713. We love having Dave on board. Welcome to Hockey Sense, and they'll be a big part of what we do on the Cam and Strick podcast as well. So, David Novak, man, welcome aboard. He's a long-time season ticket holder with the Blues, big-time fan. And these are the type of people we like to bring on board, and these are the type of people that you should want to support, hockey fans in the community. Speaking of which, I just got a nice little email from David Novak with Blue Note Roofing. So he must have known we were talking about him. So welcome aboard, Dave, and great to have you with us, as always. Here's what we're going to do today. And listen, I was wrestling back and forth with this, but Dylan Holloway, who the Blues just got from the Edmonton Oilers by signing him to an offer sheet, just like they did with Philip Broberg. And, Dylan is someone I wanted to talk to, obviously, since the offer sheets were made. We talked to him yesterday. So the vibe of that interview is certainly way different than maybe what we're feeling right now with the tragedy of the passing of Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew. I was thinking maybe we would hold off and not air the interview until next week. But with all that being said, I've made the decision to go ahead and play the interview. It's a very good interview. I think people will enjoy it, learning more about Dylan Holloway. And for those of you in Edmonton, obviously you may be a big fan. You'll enjoy the interview as well. But that's the beauty about a podcast, is you can watch it on your terms when you want to watch it. So if you don't feel like you want to listen to that type of interview right now, which is a little more energetic and a little more of a happy tone, then I get it. Maybe it's something you save and wait until tomorrow or even the next day, whenever you see fit. I totally understand. But I wanted to go ahead and include it into this show. So, again, I hope you enjoy this interview coming up with Dylan Holloway. But today we celebrate the life of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. And we're thinking about everybody who is mourning the loss of Johnny Hockey. Dylan Holloway, we'll hear from him next here on this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Thank you for being with us today. All right, good to have Dylan Holloway with us. former first-round pick of the Edmonton Oilers, and now he's a St. Louis Blue, man. You just never know, Dylan. You may wake up an Oiler one day, and the next day you're a St. Louis Blues. So I know you're still relatively fresh in your NHL career, but you've experienced the things that most guys may never experience. So thanks for doing this, and how's it been for you the last couple of days?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I mean, last couple of days have been pretty easy, just trying to figure stuff out for St. Louis. But I mean, the week before and like that whole week, too, like for the whole offer sheet was kind of a crazy week. Like it was just an insane experience. It was a weird feeling. Like I wasn't really on either team, and wasn't hearing anything from both sides. So like I wasn't really sure what was going down. And then we found out like last minute on the Tuesday morning when it had to be in that I was a St. Louis Blue. So it was a bittersweet feeling because it's like I'm leaving Edmonton, a team that drafted me, close to home, everything. But at the same time, the opportunity to play in St. Louis is a good one. Like I'm really excited to be with the team. I heard the team's a great group of guys, so I'm really excited to step forward in this new chapter and see how the season goes.
Yeah, and you're going to have a big role here right off the bat too, which has got to be exciting for you. Hey, I'm curious who brought this to your attention. Was it your agent? I mean, he makes a phone call and he says, "Hey, listen, here's what's about to go down." Were you like, "Wait, what?" Or were you expecting it? Like, what was your reaction to it all?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird. Like we knew about the offer sheet before we even had any negotiations with Edmonton, which was kind of weird. We were trying to get a deal done, and I didn't think we were asking for anything crazy at all. Like I think, if anything, like we were like very upfront with Edmonton the whole time, even about the whole offer sheet. Like we explained to them, "Hey, this is an option for us. Like, can we get a deal?" And it was weird the way they handled it. So I felt like I had no other option but to sign the offer sheet. And I did talk to Doug Armstrong before, so he did kind of lay down like the plan for the Blues and everything. So I knew if I did go to the Blues, I was going to a really good organization with good people and a good vision for the future. And then yeah, so when that whole week went down, I didn't actually expect it to be as kind of big news as it was. Like I thought it was kind of like done by me, but I thought I was kind of going to go under the radar a little bit, but definitely didn't go under the radar. Edmonton fans wanted my head there for a bit, but they probably still do. But I'm excited to be part of the Blues now that it's also home.
They probably do, but you know what? It is what it is. It's all in good fun, and they appreciated what you gave them, especially last year during the playoffs. I mean, just a crazy run for you guys to get to the Stanley Cup final, then force a Game 7. Did you make it to McDavid's wedding, by the way? And what was the reaction of your Oilers teammates about all of this that's been going on for you, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I did make it to the wedding. Yeah, the wedding was incredible. It was awesome. It was good to see everybody. I mean, at that point, like I hadn't signed the offer sheet at all. I still thought that I was going to get a deal done with Edmonton. So, like most of the conversation with the boys are just excited for the year coming up and everything. And then, when the offer sheet went down, I got lots of texts from my teammates and, but everybody understands, like, it's a whole business. Like, it's like, I don't know. That's the one thing I don't think the fans really understand is the whole business side to it. Like I could want to be on a team for like all the right reasons and everything, but if the management doesn't see eye to eye, like it's essentially it's up to them. There's a whole business with like salary cap and everything. So, I mean, like when I talk to my teammates, like they all understood and no hard feelings. Like it's definitely hard because, you have a good group of guys, you want to be with them forever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't work like that. Like hockey ultimately is a business and you got to look after yourself. So that's kind of the advice that I was given from a lot of guys too, is you got to take care of yourself first.
100%, because the guys understand that. I mean, that you guys work under the CBA, but collectively the NHLPA, you guys are all together. I was reading some quotes from Jeremy Swayman the other day. He's in a similar situation, but I mean, all he's talking about is the business side and trying to set up the goaltender who's in his seat, moving forward to make sure that you guys are getting paid, properly. So the players should be the ones that shouldn't have any problem with it. I think they would get it. I was talking to Doug Armstrong the other day though, Dylan, about the different guys that are coming in and the fact that so many of you guys have played with elite players. You have guys that are coming in who have played with Crosby and played with Stamkos. You played with McDavid and Draisaitl, obviously. What do you take away from that experience and the opportunity to be around those guys that you think you can bring with you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just watching them like on a day by day basis, kind of how they go about their day. I know like for both of them, like Leo and Damo, like they're incredibly hard workers. They take care of their bodies really well, like their nutrition, like everything. They're a pro at all moments of every day. So I think that's one thing that I've been trying to incorporate into my life is, you're not just an athlete when you put on the skates. You're an athlete all week, all month, all year. So just trying to stay consistent like that, and just do everything I can to be, the best player I can be, and then ultimately that'll help the team.
All right, so give me your summer routine, because you skated already, and now it looks like you're hanging out in the foothills, man. You got the beautiful mountains, it looks like, behind you, or at least you got some beautiful trees and whatnot. So, but now you're heading back to the rink for power skating. Like, break it down in terms of what you're doing with your training right now.
Yeah, I mean, August, it kind of like the skates ramp up for sure. July, it's kind of all about getting a good pump in and, hanging out golfing a little bit. But August, the skates for me at least ramp up. So I skate every morning. It's usually like a skill skate. And then every once in a while, I'll skate twice. I do like some power skating with my guy. His name is Marcel Lacroix. He's a good power skating coach. So shout out Marcel. Other than that, yeah, I live in Bragg Creek. So like you said, it's out in the foothills. We live right by a river. So I kind of just hang out outside and try and get some vitamin D and, jump in the river here and there with my dog. So it's pretty chill. I just kind of like train, eat well, and hang out.
You get bears over there? It looks like there's some bears hanging around there.
Yeah, we definitely get bears. We had a bear on our porch one time. It's kind of scary, but I haven't actually seen a bear in a while, so it's good.
It was a black bear though, right? Like not a grizzly or anything like that?
Yeah, black bear. So
Okay.
it's a scary one.
They won't hurt you. Hey, your skills group right now, who are you training with out there in Calgary? Is it more individual stuff, or do you have a group of NHLers that you skate with?
Yeah, we actually have a great group of like young pro guys, and it's out of the Edge School. It's called the Duckett Performance Center. So it's kind of been growing every year. I think this is my 7th year there training. So our trainers are Ross McCain. He's super dialed. He always makes good programs for us. And then the young like pro group of NHLers that we got myself, Jake Bean, Jared Anderson Dolan. We got Morgan Geeky, Connor Geeky, Tyson Jost is there, Kel Clegg's there, Jake DeBrusque is there this summer. So he's a great addition. We got my two best friends, Max Crozier and Dino Cambites are there. And we got a bunch of other like older pro guys too. So there's a lot of great guys to train with there.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good group. And Cam Jansen and I just had Jake DeBrusque on our podcast just a couple weeks ago too. So he's a great kid up there living in Calgary right now with his fiance or wife, one of the whichever one it is, who's in med school out there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. He's gonna be a doctor. So Jake, like he needs more money, man. This guy decides a big ticket, and he's in a great situation too. Hey, so you're a Calgary boy, but you end up playing college hockey at the University of Wisconsin. How do you end up in Madison? Great place, by the way. Love Madison.
Yeah.
I've been up to some games there. I went to watch Lukey Cunnin play a few years back and Trent Frederick, and they were playing against another a kid who I know real well who played for Penn State. So I went up there and checked out a game. My son, it's the first hockey game he ever went to was at the Kohl Center. So a great experience. But how'd you end up there?
Yeah, it's a good question. As a Western Canadian kid, obviously I wanted to play in the WHL my whole life growing up. And my dad played in the WHL, so he played like back in the old days though, and there's like tons of fighting and everything. And the Dubs changed over the years, but he told me, he was like, hey, like when I was younger, like I'd have liked to go see my options, like see what the NCAA is about. So he said, make sure before you like sign anything, like know your options. So I got drafted late by Everett. I was kind of a late bloomer, and ended up touring Wisconsin when I was 15 on an unofficial visit. And like as soon as I got to campus, I was like, this place is sick. Like I loved it. Like the campus is awesome. I had a great tour guide too. My tour guide is Wyatt Kalnick. His name is. He's my captain my first year, but he gave me the whole experience. Like took me out after the games and stuff. And I don't know. He did that. And as soon as I left the campus, I was like, I'm committing here. That was awesome. So. I'm really happy I did too. It was the 2 best years of my life. Like, it was so much fun. So
yeah, you had a ton of success, and you played with some big dogs too, who we'll get into. But did you tour any other campuses? Did you go on any other visits, or just that one?
No, just that one. Yeah, that was I was pretty young, and they offered me a full ride like right away. And I wasn't even expecting that, so I pounced on it. I thought it was like a dream come true, like a school like that, full ride. So I pounced on it.
So right then and there, so they had been scouting you, I would imagine, right? Playing in the AJ where you were playing, right?
Yeah, I think so. I was in midget at the time. I think the one tournament that they saw me at was the U16. I think it's like Western Canada, like Challenge Cup or something. It's like Team Alberta versus Team BC, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. It's like a 14 tournament.
Okay.
And I happened to have a good tournament, and we won gold. So, but usually like everybody there is already signed with WHL, and I was a player that wasn't at the time. So I think that's like where they saw me and got me from.
Hey, how was Tony Granado with you? Obviously, a lot of experience, and the guys who played for him seemed to love him. How was he, with you?
Yeah, I love Tony. He's probably the greatest human being I've ever met. Like he cares so much about his players, just everybody. He treats everybody with respect. He's awesome human being, and as a coach, I loved him too. He helped me become like a pro ready player, and I definitely feel like I grew a lot as a person and as a player with him coaching me. So I got nothing but good words for Tony Milano. He's awesome.
All right, so you're a 2021 Hobie Baker finalist. I want to say Cole Caulfield won it that year, right? And he was your teammate at Wisconsin. So two guys in the top 10. You played with guys like, Keandre Miller. You can tell us some other guys maybe you played with. But, a lot of good players, man, at Wisconsin. Yeah. They get so many good players, Dylan. Like, what's it going to take for Wisconsin to get back to that, Frozen Four level and get another national championship under their belts? Because it's been a while, but every time I look at the roster, they've got a ton of NHLers on their roster.
Yeah, no, I know. Like when I was there, we had so many good guys. And we had such a good. I thought we had great teams both years. We had a little more success team wise my second year, but yeah, like players like Cole Caulfield, Keandre Miller, Alex Turcotte was a teammate my first year. So I mean the list goes on and on. I think for Wisconsin to get back to the Frozen Four, I mean, it's tough. Like we have so many good players, but we're always so young. Like I remember, like I was 18, 19, and then you're playing like in the NCAA playoffs against guys that are like 23, 24. Yeah. So I mean, some teams load up with older guys, and it's kind of tough to go far like that. But I think Wisconsin just gotta keep promoting the program. I think like anybody you talk to loves Wisconsin, loves the school. So yeah, I just think keep recruiting hard, and I think the school's program's too good to not have success here in the upcoming future.
Yeah, and not too many guys, stay more than a year or two also, who are the high NHL draft picks who know that they can go straight to the NHL. So it's hard to keep guys for 4 years now too, right, at the college level. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
All right, so the Blues roster, who do you look forward to really getting to watch play on a regular basis? Like, what do you think of the team? How much do you know of the team? Like, give me an idea of what your impression is of the roster as you've had a chance to kind of, skim it over.
Yeah, I mean, obviously last year I didn't follow the Blues a whole lot, but since the last week and a half, I've definitely done my research, and I'm excited. I've talked to a bunch of guys have reached out. It seems like a really good group of guys. So we're just excited to kind of get immersed with everybody. But I'm excited to be teammates with Jake Neighbors. I played against him a bit growing up and played on a couple of teams with him. So he's a great guy, and I like him a lot. So I think he'll be a fun guy to play with, and then. Obviously their top guys like Kyrou and Thomas. I watched them play over the last couple of years. I like their games a lot. I think they're both really skilled, really smart, and play the right way. So I'm excited for that. And then another guy too is Bennington. I don't really know much about him, but I just I've seen like his I guess you could say highlights over the years. Like he makes nasty saves and is always in guys' faces. So I'm kind of excited to see what he's like as a guy. And he's a great goalie too. So it's always nice having a solid goalie in the pipes.
Yeah, you're gonna love Jordan Binnington, man. And all those guys, but Binnington's the man for sure. Would you have played in the World Juniors with any of these guys, Joel Hofer, any of these guys, or no?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, all these guys were kind of sprinkled through there, but maybe they're a little bit older. How good was Jakey Neighbors as a young kid? Like, was he a great player? Like, did you know he was destined for this level of success, or was he a late bloomer? How would you describe his game?
I mean, I've always thought he was an awesome player. Growing up, I think he was the one team I played with him was it was an all-star team, like Bantam AAA. It was my second year, his first year. So, as a first-year player making that was always kind of a big deal at that age. And I've always liked his game. I've been a fan of his game. He's had success kind of at every level. So, when he got drafted in his first round of the Blues, I thought that was a good pick by them. Kind of know what he's all about. And yeah, I obviously had a great year last year, and I'm excited to be teammates with him this year.
Did you play in the Brick tournament as a young kid out there in Alberta?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Because Jake didn't either. You just assume it's become such a commercialized tournament, and it's out there, and everybody's talking about. I'm just wondering how many guys from your area actually played in it, when you were growing up. I mean, a lot of guys do, obviously, as you know. Is it that big of a deal? I mean, it's a huge deal here just for kids to make it, to get out there. How big of a deal is it where you're from?
It's a pretty big deal. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't even get to try out, unfortunately, but I remember I wanted to. I was telling my parents, I was like, hey, when can I try out? And they're like, no, you got to be invited to try out. And obviously devastated, but I think it worked out now. But yeah, it's definitely a big deal at that age.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. So you're a first round pick. So were you more of a late bloomer? Like, were you always on that trajectory? Like when you went to Wisconsin, like, were you thinking, hey, I'm going to be, I don't know if you were drafted already or not, but even prior to your draft year, like, were you expected to go as high as you did?
I mean, in my head, yeah, in my head, I always believed in myself, and I thought I was on that trajectory. But I mean, it's so tough, like growing up, like you had growth spurts at different times. I remember, like I was always pretty good growing up, but I didn't get like big, I guess, until my second year junior. Like I think that was in my first year junior, I was like 170 pounds, and like I was still a pretty good player. But as soon as I packed on a little weight and started moving quicker, that's kind of when I took off there. And then my first year at school was actually my draft year because I had a late birthday, so I knew going in there that I had an opportunity to, if I did well, I'd go hopefully first round in the draft, and it ended up working out.
Hey, describe your game, because sometimes the game that we see is maybe the game that you have to play based on the team you're on, based on the role that you're given on a specific team. I mean, you obviously have great speed and some real offensive tools. I love watching your highlight tape of your goals you scored this past season, because so many of them, like, you end up just, face first on the ice, man, because it's a second and third effort finding the loose pucks in front of the net. Man, I love watching you score, but I feel like you've got a more defined, offensive game maybe that you're going to be able to show here in St. Louis versus the situation you were in Edmonton.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. I think I mean, if I was to describe myself as a player, I think I'm a skilled power forward. I think speed's kind of my biggest attribute, and I think I blended together with good hands, good shot, but I also like to play physical too. So I like to throw the body around, and then yeah, I think I definitely like to showcase my offensive ability a little bit more in St. Louis. In Edmonton, they have so much star power up front that it's kind of hard to break out as like an offensive guy, because I mean they got their offensive guys, and their offensive guys are the best in the world. So, but yeah, I definitely like to showcase that a little bit more with a little bit more opportunity in St. Louis, and yeah, I'm definitely excited for the year.
Yeah, no, you're walking guys, man. I mean, it's not just all about, getting the loose rebounds in front, man. I've seen some goals that you scored off the rush as well. So, looking forward to seeing that here in St. Louis. And then Broberg, man, is a guy who, everyone talks about his skating too. I mean, are you guys pretty tight as teammates? And I heard even when he was down in the American Hockey League, like he would just dominate down there. And then we saw obviously him get an opportunity in the postseason, but what's his ceiling, man? How good can this guy be?
Yeah, I think Blues fans are gonna be really happy with Broberg. He's got all the tools, man. Like he's such a good skater. He's good puck skills. He's massive. He's like 6'4", like 215 pounds. Like he's a big guy. And he's just got like all the raw tools. So I think sometimes with guys when they're like bigger like that, it's like takes them a little bit more time to blend it together, and then. But I think with Broby, like I think he's definitely coming into his own. Like you saw it in the playoffs, like he looked so confident, and he looked like such a steady, like established D-man. So, the confidence he's gonna have, especially after signing that contract, like I think he's gonna prove to everybody like why St. Louis thought that he's worth that money. And yeah, I think he's gonna have a good year.
All right, we just had Matthew Tkachuk in here. He's probably not your favorite guy, but I will say that he was pumping your tires pretty good, and it was like he was like, hey, playing against him and playing against Broberg. Like, these two guys have some real ability. So at least he was pumping your tires, man. I know you lost to him in the final, but what do you think that run to the final has done for you from a confidence standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's been huge. Like, obviously in Edmonton, kind of have a little bit more of a suppressed role, kind of always bottom six. I think my time on ice average is like 10 minutes throughout my last 2 years in the NHL. But throughout that playoff run, I was kind of able to establish myself in more of a role, and playing a little bit more in key scenarios. And at that time of year too, it's definitely big for the confidence. And, being able to pot a couple goals, even in the finals that's a pretty special feeling, and especially for me and my family. And I think it just kind of proved to myself, like, the work is paying off, and I just got to keep at it. So, yeah, I think it's big for the confidence for sure.
Listen, it's got to be devastating to lose a Game 7. I mean, I can only imagine. I've seen the Blues on the other side win a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final. And the video that came out of your guys' dressing room after Game 7. And in a way, has this situation allowed you to maybe turn the page a little easier and generate a level of excitement that maybe you didn't think was possible a few weeks ago, just because of the letdown of losing in the Stanley Cup final. I mean, having this to look forward to, knowing that you're going to a different team, making a lot more money, Dylan, like, does this give you a level of anticipation and excitement that certainly wouldn't have been there if you weren't leaving to head to St. Louis?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you put it that way, I think for sure, like, it's definitely exciting. I heard nothing but good things about St. Louis. So, like, new team, kind of new city. Like, I've only been there twice, but it's only been at the hotel and the rink, so I've never actually got to experience St. Louis. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of change, but at the same time, like you said, like losing that game 7, it was heartbreaking. Like, it was such a good group of guys, and we got so tight on that run. So, I mean, leaving those guys, I know the team's changed, but leaving those guys is definitely hard. But I think for me and my career, just going forward, this is probably the better decision. And it was tough at the time, but I'm really excited to see what St. Louis is all about and try and help the team win as best I can.
Yeah, no, you're gonna love it. How's your wrist, man? I know you've had some wrist injuries in the past. Are those completely in the rearview mirror? Like, you're past 100%? Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, my wrist is kind of mangled, to be honest. Like, it's not ideal, but like for hockey, it's fine. Like, it's just like I can't do push-ups. Like, I can't bend it back. So, like, that's a problem. I don't know if you can see, but it's got like this massive scar. But yeah, I mean, it's all right. Like, it's nothing that's gonna hold me back hockey-wise, but just kind of on like day-to-day stuff. And there's stuff I can't do with it, but it's good. It's my bottom hand though, so it's not my top hand. So like my puck handling, stick control, and everything's fine, and like shooting's fine because I just got to grip it. So I got kind of blessed. It was my bottom hand, but it was an injury that it sucked and it took forever to get like kind of back to playing shape. But it's good now.
When did that happen, and where were you playing at the time?
It happened the Big Ten finals my second year at school. I actually remember the date to be exact. It's March 19th, 2021, I think. Yeah. And it was it was just a weird injury. It's called the scaphoid. It's a small bone in your wrist, and the reason it's like a bad one to break is because it gets no blood flow. And I ended up getting surgery after the game. I broke it. I played the next day on it with like a full cast on, couldn't move my wrist. Got surgery like 4 days later, and then 5 days later played in the NCAA, the playoffs. So I played one game against Bemidji and lost, but it was one of those games I felt like I could not play in, and I probably paid the price for the next like all summer for sure. I didn't like do anything on it all summer, and then I had to get another surgery on it. So
all right,
it was a big thing.
Well, I'm glad you're healthy now. You played center a lot. You played wing. You're center in college. Like, what's your most comfortable natural position, and what have you played the most in your professional career?
My professional career, I pretty much only played left wing. I played a couple games at center, but my whole life growing up, I've always played center. So I think I'm comfortable in both positions. I don't know what position they're going to utilize me at as soon as I get there, but I told Doug that I'm available in both spots. So I like both positions. Obviously, center, you can kind of gain more speed and get a little more puck touches, but wing's a little bit less defensive too. So it's always kind of a nice thing, I guess. But I like both positions a lot.
And what's the ceiling for you? You think offensively, you're just scratching the surface. I mean, people look at your numbers and they say, okay, well, he hasn't scored a ton. But again, you got to look at the entire picture in terms of where you're playing, who's in front of you. You're still super, super young, but you feel like you can be a productive offensive player, right? You expect to produce some offense?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I definitely believe in myself, and I expect a lot of me over the next few years. So I definitely a goal of mine is to become a lead offensive guy.
Who'd you play with the most in Edmonton?
I played with McLeod a lot as my centerman. And then for a while, like the lines were always switching. So it was me, McLeod, and Perry for a bit. In the playoff run, it was me, Leo, and Kaner. And then Kaner got hurt. But it was kind of all over the place. So I think the two guys I played most with are McLeod, and then I played with Fogle a bit too. So it's kind of all over the place.
Okay. And that's the way it goes in the NHL, right? Everybody's playing with everybody anyways, everywhere. So it is what it is, man. But listen, Blues fans are excited. I mean, this was exciting to be able to get you. I know the Blues are excited about it, obviously, also, as they had targeted you before. So enjoy the rest of the summer. Thanks for doing this, and we'll see you in St. Louis in a few weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Okay.
Appreciate it. So thank you.
You got it. We'll talk soon.
I'm good. Yeah.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Dylan Holloway. Again, we'll get more into him and dive deeper into his game and everything that comes with his story. Again, tough to do with all the news surrounding today. And again, we're thinking about all the Columbus Blue Jacket fans, their front office, their coaching staff, all of the players. I think about everything that organization has been through with the tragedy from a few years back involving the fireworks. They've been through an awful lot, that organization has. I remember when Johnny Gaudreau signed with Columbus and how it just shocked and sent shockwaves through the hockey world. Nobody expected it. Nobody expected him to sign there. But he believed in Columbus. He believed in what his heart was telling him. That's where he wanted to be. And Johnny Gaudreau, he did it his way. What an underdog, man. Small in stature, but a monster game that he brought to the table. What a hockey player. And everyone will always remember Johnny Hockey. You know, one of the biggest memories I've had of Johnny Hockey, and it's not just from his time playing with the Calgary Flames and all the memories he gave Flames fans of evolving into a true elite of the elite superstars in the NHL. But when he played for the Young Stars, Team North America, whatever they called it at the World Cup a few years back, and how good he was in that tournament. I mean, he was so good in that tournament. And I think it opened the eyes for a lot of people to be like, damn, this guy really is as good as advertised. He was so good in the World Junior Tournament years ago, I couldn't believe that he wasn't drafted until, I want to say the 4th round. But he had some incredible nicknames. Johnny Hockey, Johnny Ham and Cheese was another one of his nicknames. And yeah, 4th round pick, 104th overall back in 2011. But he was so good in the World Junior Championships, just watching this guy play and the pace that he played with and the puck control, his one-on-one ability, how dangerous he was with the puck on his stick. He could score. His best season came in his last season with Calgary, 21-22, when he had 115 points. He's had other seasons of 99 points, 84 points. He's been over 70 a couple of times. Scored 40 goals one year. He's gotten to 30 on a couple of other occasions. Great passer. Wow. We're thinking of all of you who are close with Johnny Gaudreau and his family. We're thinking about his sister. We're thinking about his mom and dad. And the unimaginable loss that they are feeling today. I can only imagine what they're dealing with as a family. Again, we thank all our sponsors for bringing us Hockey Sense, including Blue Note Roofing. Again, you call Blue Note Roofing. You tell David that I sent you. Do it today, 314-920-5713 for all your roofing needs, soffit, fascia, gutters, siding, whatever it is. Blue Note Roofing, welcome to the show. Of course, Hockey Sense is brought to you by our friends over at First Community. No better place to do your banking. We say it all the time. The home loans, man, there are so many options with the home loans. So we talk about rates, but speaking of rates, there's good news out there about mortgage rates. The Federal Reserve is expected to lower rates in the near future, which means home loan rates are expected to go down for a change instead of going up. I mean, we're all sick of the home loan rates going up. So if you got a great mortgage rate, consider yourself lucky. You may want to stay right where you are. But if you're in the market for a new home, you'll probably need a home loan, and First Community has some great options. They have a home loan for everyone. So if you're buying your first home or know someone who is, look no further than First Community if you're buying that first home. They've got some incredible advantages for first-time home buyers. They have a first-time home buyer loan with no down payment required, no closing costs, no private mortgage insurance required. Are you kidding me? No PMI, no down payment, no closing costs. First-time home buyers, listen up. Call First Community today. They also offer the affordable alternative 5-year adjustable rate mortgage with a lower rate than a 30-year term. And they got so many options. FirstCommunity.com. Check that out and do it today. We love having First Community, our title sponsor here on Hockey Sense. Of course, all our friends over at Dirt Cheap, Fun, your one-stop party shop, Four Hands Brewing Company, 314 Sports Cards, Devin Sant, all the incredible people at 314 Sports Cards. They are the absolute best when it comes to everything that they do at 314 Sports Cards. Whatever it is you're looking for. If you got that card your son or daughter won't stop asking about, and they're saying, hey, I want this card of so-and-so, and you keep opening packs, but you're not getting it, but you want it, no better place to go than 314 Sports Cards. Tell them what you're looking for, and they'll dig it up for you. I promise. They got all these individual cards that are cheap, but they got one-of-a-kind cards. If you want to spend a little bit more money, you can do that to add to your collection. The card industry is just completely blown up. Lordo's Diamonds, Arco Construction, taking St. Louis hockey to the next level, one ice rink at a time. If you're looking to build a rink, look no further than Arco Construction. Nobody does it better than Jeff Cook and John Comlos. They have built the Blues practice facility, the Centene Community Ice Center, that beautiful two-sheet facility in Chesterfield, the Maryville University ice rink. They bring the fun to St. Louis. They built Top Golf. They also built Putt Shack. And so these guys are the real deal. And we love having Arco Construction with us here on Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Again, welcome aboard Blue Note Roofing. We love having new sponsors. We love all our sponsors. We couldn't make this possible without the support of our sponsors. We thank Aiden for helping us out today. Always appreciate everything he does to help us get everything uploaded, and Jason for helping things get put on YouTube. We got a great staff here with Hockey Sense. But today is a day to celebrate the life of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. And it's okay to be sad, too. That's the way I always look at these things, man. It's okay to be sad because it is very sad. It's tragic. 31 years of age for Johnny Gaudreau. 29 years of age for Matthew Gaudreau. No explanation for why these things happen. Nobody has an answer for it. It makes no sense whatsoever. And there are people in this world who are hurting deeply today and feeling that sense of loss they may never recover from. We think about the Gaudreaus, and we think about everybody with the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Calgary Flames. I'm Andy Strickland. Thanks for tuning into this edition of Hockey Sense. As always, we appreciate it. We release this every Friday, live from Half Coast Studios. Check it out on YouTube and all your podcast platforms. Have a great weekend, everybody.